Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's CCAC meeting. We usually start off with just repeating the mission statement. Frederick County CCAC works in collaboration with students, families, FCPS staff, and the community to advise the Office of Special Education and the Board of Education. The committee will focus on open and honest communication, improving effectiveness and accountability, advocating for appropriate resources, and identifying individual issues that may often be systemic. The committee will work together to put children first. Now, usually what we do next is we have public comment. I learned this afternoon that we have no public comment for this month. So we are going to be able to move on and do something a little bit different tonight. We have speakers from several different organizations that are we're calling it the Nonprofit Spotlight, and we're going to have them all speak to us. So, Kara, if you want to take over and be like the hostess with the mostest for this part.
Absolutely. So the events committee decided we've had actually a couple of different public comments from some nonprofits this school year. And so instead of just, bringing on and presenting everyone individually, we thought what we would try to do is pull a bunch of you together from a variety of different disability backgrounds or support backgrounds, have you join, share a little bit about what your organization does, 2 to 3 minutes if you can, and then give us an opportunity to ask any questions. But this is a good avenue to partner both with our family support group, which is me for Partners of Success, and with our CCAC broader audience to be able to kind of share this information and make sure that we know families and teachers and everyone knows that you exist. Oh, good, Neil. Thank you for joining. I just saw you on. Perfect. So what I was thinking, just for fairness, I'm just going to go down the line kind of alphabetically by organization, which means Corby, you are up first with the ARC of Frederick County.
Okay, good evening. I think Kara has a little slide for you guys to follow along since this has to be short and sweet. I'm Corby Fowler. I am a supervisor coordinator with the ARC of Frederick County. At the ARC, we provide community resources for all ages in the Frederick County area. We provide information and referral services, which are a free service to anyone in the community or even out of state. We have a lot of people out of state call to asked for what about services for when they're moving here. That is a free service to anyone. We try to provide connections and resources. We provide at the ARC, we're a DDA provider, which means when someone's been approved for disability services in the state of Maryland, we are a provider of residential supports. For the ARC, that means in the community and in someone's home or in their own private home. We do not provide any supports for group homes. We don't provide that particular service. We also provide employment supports. That's anyone who's looking for a job, transitioning out of school. We provide supported employment through the state. We also are a vendor with DOORS, the Department of Rehabilitative Services, and that is a free service for anyone who hasn't been approved for disability services in the state. Can acquire supported employment services through DOORS. They fill out a small application and it's approved, and then the ARC is a vendor that can provide those community supports, finding a job, and job coaching. We also work with FCPS on the autism waiver. We are the coordination of autism waiver in this area, and I know there's a direct correlation with FCPS to continue those services. We have a day program at the ARC at Market Street. It is not a large day program, and it's a very community-based day program. We have a small group of individuals that need more home-based support, and anyone who has more medically fragile needs kind of has more of a home-based supports there. Other than that, most people are one-to-one out in the community on their day program. We also provide Hispanic outreach in this area. We have an Hispanic outreach coordinator who contacts that and has a support group for individuals, and they're welcome to contact her at all times. She translates all of our information into Spanish for anyone that needs that. We do educational advocacy. We help support families with the IEP process, answer questions. We also come to schools and do school inclusion presentations for all ages, kindergarten through high school, any kind of diagnosis, any kind of disability. Teachers or parents contact us and we work with the school to provide that service. We do job training at our Market Street building, which is bakery, janitorial, and catering services. That is also a service that can be provided if you have doors referral. That is something that's a training program that teaches you those skills, and then we help you look for a position in the community. And that's also something we've been facilitating, I think, working a little bit with FCPS on the transitioning youth. We have futures and estates planning, which we have all the resources and connections for families. We do a lot of presentations and we provide information for families. We also provide webinars and information on the ABLE Act currently to try to really help families get connected with that. And that's a very wonderful resource and very not utilized enough in the state. So we're really trying to help families get connected with that. We have a sibling support group. We have a parents' day out, and we have just a regular parent support group. And all of those are kind of been on hold due to COVID, but we're hoping to reinstate them very soon. Those are other things that we like to provide to the community with no charge, try to just help answer questions and help alleviate any concerns for families. We work with the various community presentations like Delaplane, FCC. We work with FCC on their Thrive classes. We work with the Delaplane on continuing making art classes accessible for individuals that we support. They've been great community connections for us. We also offer lots of volunteer opportunities from all kinds of civic groups to volunteer, to middle school, high school looking for service hours, or anyone in college that's looking to go into the field of disabilities or teaching. We're a great resource for them to get a lot of one-to-one connection with people and a lot of experience. I know that's super fast and short and sweet, and anybody has any other specific questions, I'm happy to give you more details, but thank you.
And I was switching profiles as you were going. I have the document that Corby has too. I'll make sure that all of you have that, and we'll also post it on our Facebook webpage so that you and any community members can access it too. So thank you. So who is next on my list? Thanks, Corby, so much. Bob and Evans from Friends. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
Sure, Kara. Evan, you want me to go ahead?
Sure, go ahead, Bob.
First, I want to thank CCAC in general and Kara in particular for inviting us to tell the group a little bit about ourselves. We're known as Friends, or the Family Resource Information Education Network for Down Syndrome. We're a nonprofit group of parents that reformed in 1999. And what we try and do is we're a support and resource group for expectant parents, new parents, and extended families of babies born with Down syndrome. We provide age-appropriate activities for the children and their friends. We advocate for community awareness and acceptance. We have meetings, usually monthly meetings, although COVID has made that a little more challenging right at the moment. We're often we'll have guest speakers to speak at that, or just have general ability of new parents, especially, to have that opportunity to talk to people that have kind of been in the area and going through raising children with Down syndrome a little longer, and help give them some advice and just informally share the joys and challenges of parenting in general. We're basically a voluntary group with no paid positions. We're run by a 6-person board, none of whom receive compensation. We're all basically a parent-driven group. And we are always looking for new board members. So if anybody has an interest, I'll throw that little plug out there now. You don't have to have a direct link to Down syndrome, just an interest and willingness to help. And the one thing we're very proud of, I'd say about 80 to 90% of our funding goes back into the community. So not having paid positions makes us able to do that a little better than a lot of organizations have salaries to pay. Some of the things we do, we have what's called the Andrew C. Eicher Memorial Scholarship. It's in honor of Andrew Eicher, who was a beloved member of our group, and we lost him way too early at 12 years old. We offer scholarships ranging from $100 to $1,000 per student per academic year of higher education. And to get that, to be eligible, you need to be an individual with Down syndrome who's seeking higher education in any field of their choice, or a student that's pursuing a degree in special education or allied career in helping the needs of individuals with Down syndrome. You can also be an educator or paraeducator pursuing an additional training in a specific area that would be beneficial to teaching individuals with Down syndrome. We usually open those up around, I think, towards the end of May, early June. You can go to our website and find the application there, and we have that runs, usually closes about mid-July, if I remember right, somewhere around in there. You also may be aware that we do the Techniques for Success Teachers Conference. We in the group in Montgomery County founded this more than 10 years ago, and it started out where we had 98 people attend. We bring in speakers from all around the country. We bring in people with strategies and techniques to help teach not only our children with Down syndrome, but obviously other children with disabilities who share a lot of the features and cognitive issues that our kids do. We now end up with about 400 people attending all the time. It's been a big success over the years. This year it'll be virtual. We will be having 90-minute presentations are going to be offered on November 6th, 13th, and the 20th. And the topics this year are going to include technology, social justice, and behavior. One other thing we do all the time that I'm sure a number of you are probably familiar with is we have a Down syndrome poster campaign that we tend to do every March in conjunction with World Down Syndrome Day. And we highlight our kids and kids from some of our neighboring areas that have Down syndrome. And, you know, the focus that we have is more alike than different, how to show how they're like every other kid and bringing them into the mainstream and just helping everyone kind of see them doing what they like to do best. Another thing we do is we have a Down syndrome awareness walk in September. It serves as a fundraiser for us, but it's basically consists of a walk around Baker Park with activities, music, entertainment, a basket raffle, and most importantly, the opportunity for individuals with Down syndrome and their families to have fun and connect with others in a welcoming and kind of non-judgmental atmosphere where kids can be kids and parents can just sit back and watch the smiles and excitement on everyone's faces. One of the high points we have there is a creation of team canopies where we have teams that set up for children, either their children with Down syndrome or friends of that, and they set up these canopies with a little story about their child and highlight it, and all the friends come, and they become like little teams for the day. So it makes it kind of fun for everybody. In addition to those things, we offer grants to usually individuals with Down syndrome or family members on their behalf if they're young. We have 3 types of grants we offer. There's a medical grant to assist them with the cost of medical bills. There's an enrichment grant, which allows them to apply for funding to help them go to camps or other activities that they may have an interest in, but may have difficulty affording. And then we have technology grants, which one of the biggest things with that usually is providing iPads to kids or young adults to use in either their job or at school to help. We also tend to do some legislative activities. We support our members and their families by commenting on proposed legislation that directly affects or has the potential to affect individuals with Down syndrome and their families. We have partnered with other organizations in the past to get what was called the Down Syndrome Information Bill passed through the Maryland legislature. I realize now that's probably been about 8 to 10 years ago we did that. But before that bill, if you can believe this, most of the information a new family got about Down syndrome was from the 1970s and would refer to the terms retarded, and we refer to our kids as mongoloid and things like this, just highly inappropriate stuff. So we fought to get that changed along with a number of other groups, and we're very successful, and now there's much more updated information that has to be available for parents and families. We also were one of the founding members of the Maryland Down Syndrome Advocacy Coalition. It has successfully advocated for universal design for learning. We had representation on the mayor's governor's task force on the ABLE Act, and we also lobbied for the passage of the ABLE Act in Maryland. As a result of all those, I'm very happy to report that there's a number of Down syndrome groups around the state that are involved with this, and MDAC is now widely recognized by the Maryland legislature as a responsible agent for change in the area of disability support. Finally, I just want to touch base on some of the family events we do. We arrange for speakers with topics of interest to individuals with Down syndrome and their families to come and present at some of our meetings. One of our high points and one of our most popular things is our annual Valentine's Day dance that we hold usually in Middletown at the Fire Hall Event Center there. About 200 people attend. Everybody dresses up to have a special night. There's food, music, dancing, a photo booth, and the only cost we ask is a can of food to donate to the local food bank. Due to its popularity, and we have everybody always ask us, are you going to do this every month? For which we can't, but we are looking at actively considering about trying to add another one or two maybe throughout the year to offer more opportunities for people to have fun. We usually also have a summer picnic and a pool party in August. We have been at venues like Catoctin Park, the Catoctin Zoo, Pinecliff Park. Obviously, it's been a little bit impacted by COVID, but we're working to try and bring those things back now. We also have supported the I Can Bike camps, which are kind of nice. They allow people with disabilities, and we don't define it just to Down syndrome. We open up to most individuals with disabilities, but it allows them to learn to ride a two-wheeled bike, usually within the span of a week. And that's always been a pretty popular thing too. So I'd just like to close with saying that although COVID has had a profound impact on Friends' abilities to do a lot of the activities we have always done in that, we have always kind of erred on the side of caution, since many of our members are at a very increased risk for negative outcomes from COVID. So we're hoping that as the immunizations get more widely used and things become a little more safer and concerns are able to be relaxed a little bit, we can back to doing all the things we have done. And we're very hopeful that we're going to be able to at least have our annual Down Syndrome Awareness Walk in Buddy Park. Hopefully this September, things will allow for that to happen. So thank you very much for your time and for allowing us to present.
Thank you, Bob, and Evan for joining too. We appreciate you guys joining. So next up on our list is the Individual Education Professionals, Inc. I believe we have Marla and Cassie on.
I think we lost her.
Oh, we lost Cassie
my
again.
internet connection is really
That's
bad,
okay.
so I'm going to have to let Marla talk, and I was going to try to share the screens, but Kara, if you can present the slides, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
I can just cue you when to do the next one.
Then no problem. Give me 1 second to bring it up.
Okay.
Tell me if you can see that. Does it need to be bigger?
You could put it in present mode, and then
I can.
Better?
Better?
I see them. Yay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I'm Marla Migdal, and I'm the president of Individual Educational Professional, Inc. and Cassandra Han. You can wait.
Hello. You can see me.
And we were established in 2019 in October 1st, and you can go to the next slide. And so our mission statement is we provide education, advocacy, and resources for educators, parents, and students with dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. We provide scholarships to educators. We sponsor workshops and speaker series and education programs for students, parents, and educators. Next slide. And so we always say, welcome to your nonprofit, because it's not ours, it's Frederick County nonprofit. And so I introduced myself, and Cassandra Hand is, I would say she's my left, right, all my hands. She's very helpful. And so this is just some of the things we were able to do before COVID and get out in the community. But we have been able to do some amazing things despite we just had to pivot a little bit. Next slide. And so we partner with other nonprofits and businesses, and we've done a lot this year with Frederick County Public Library the last few years, and also we have a new partnership with Genesee School and a course called Paragraphology. Next slide. So here is an example of, we had a really fun activity, a contest with all the Frederick County Public School, the Frederick County libraries. They had made dyslexic little presentation and took pictures of it and sent it in, and just kind of for awareness. So that's what you saw. This is an example. Urbana Library did a great job. They all had different books just to promote in October Dyslexic Awareness Month. Next slide. And so we in turn donated multiple resources to the public library across, you can be shared, but we did a lot of great books so that teachers could go. Some of them are academic books, but parents or homeschool parents or anybody can take these books out. And this is something we will continue to do as well. They were very appreciative. It was a lot of fun. Next slide. We also do education. So I spoke with the library, and we had a night where I talked about dyslexia awareness. We also had a little yoga night for parents and kids, just because it can be intense in front of that computer all year, and minds need a break. So we do different speaker series and education series as well. Next slide. One of our new project this year, we are funding at least one teacher, and our goal is to fund one teacher in every FCPS school to be trained in the next 2 years in paragraphology. And paragraphology is the study of writing through color coding. It's a multi-sensory, comprehensive approach for note-taking and writing, and it would help all students in elementary, middle, and high school. But this is for a teacher, a Frederick County public school teacher. We're focusing on Frederick County, and they could take the course, and it's a scholarship, so they have to apply for it, and we pay for it. There's a current one in August. And so we're just getting the word out there that if you're a Frederick County public school teacher and you want to apply for this scholarship, you can go to our website. And what's great is, even though we support dyslexic learners, and but this will help many learners across the board, and students in general education. We really we want to support our students, but we must support our teachers. Next slide. The other goal is to have teachers, they can get scholarships if you are a special education teacher or a speech and language pathologist in Frederick County in public schools, and we would provide a scholarship. You have to apply, but in visualizing and verbalizing. And this is also a great resource, and it's for diverse learners across the board. And I have kind of a list so that you could kind of see who this can help, and you can see it can help across the board in many learning challenges. So it's not just dyslexia and dysgraphia, although it will help them as well. If you have auditory processing disorder, if teachers work with students on a spectrum, speech and language, traumatic brain injury, multiple disabilities, many students that are dyslexic have severe language impairments as well. So, but it can go across the board and help so many students. And there is a condition called hyperlexia. So we call them word callers. And so they can read anything, but they can't comprehend. And though this is great for them as well. And that, again, can go across many areas and many learning challenges. And so this is also, the teacher just has to go onto our website and apply as well for this scholarship. And it's, we do it year long, these scholarships.
I do want to add real quickly that when you go onto our website, because the visualizing and verbalizing is through Linda Bood Bell, if you go in there, there's a link that tells you how to get to where all the classes are listed. So that way, if a teacher can only take it during the summer, they have tons of options available, and their schedule is posted on their website. So the link's on the website that we have.
Yeah. Thank you. Next slide. And so in 2020, 2021, we gave out 17 scholarships for public and private school teachers around Frederick County, 14 FCPS teachers, 11 teachers in paragraphology, and 3 teachers in VV, shortened for it, and then 3 private school teachers that instruct students living in Frederick County lives in Frederick County. So we do support students if they are in private schools, and we reach out to them as well. You can go to the next slide, and that's our website too, iepinc.net. And so we support teachers, and we understand the challenges they face. I'm a former Frederick County public school teacher, and I've worked actually in many counties in Maryland. Scholarships provide funding for educational methods that will help individual FCPS teachers directly, which impacts student learning. By supporting FCPS teachers, we are supporting our FCPS students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I now have Angie and Renee from Parents Place of Maryland. Can you see the Parents Place slides?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Kara.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Marla.
All right. I'm gonna try to do this in 3 minutes, Kara. I promise. I promise. So hi, I'm Renee Averett-Sanzoni, and I'm with the Parents Place of Maryland, and I'm joined by Angie Allredge. She's somewhere on your screen with all of our cameras. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Parents Place of Maryland. Kara, you can just kind of scroll through. If you want to stop for a second, at least on the picture, so everybody gets a picture of Angie. The reason I'm just spending a little bit of time talking about Angie is she is our newest addition to the team, and she is our parent educator that is dedicated to the western part of Maryland, and we are so excited. Yes.
Excuse me, Renee, can you fix your mic? Because it's coming, I can barely make out what you're saying. It's very, it's difficult.
Well, I have to tell you that it's the first time anybody has had trouble hearing me and my big mouth. So thank you. Is that any better?
A little bit better. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So anyways, as I was saying, Angie is our parent educator for Western Maryland, and we are thrilled that she is here. So definitely wanted to highlight that. And then, Kara, if you just want to kind of go through to our services and why you're rolling, I will talk about. So the Parents Place of Maryland is a parent training information and a health information center. So we serve all children with disabilities and special health care needs for the whole entire state of Maryland. Our mission is to empower families to be their child's best advocate. We start from a place that the parent is the expert on the child, and it is our job to help them be that full participating member of the IEP team, working with schools, doctors, therapists, community, anything that you can think of. And we provide one-on-one assistance to families. We do resource sharing like this, leadership training, and then we also do some really targeted military outreach as well. So I've already talked about this, Ms. Kara. I see I'm going to do it in 3 minutes. Here is some information about how we got really specific resources for families around supporting families through COVID. So we do coffee and conversations, an early childhood one, a middle school one, middle school, high school, behavior, Spanish, and then we do one for professionals. And then we also have YouTube videos, trainings, monthly newsletters, all of that fun stuff. If you have questions and need help, super easy. Go to our website, ppmd.org, contact an expert, click on it, put in your name, rank, and serial number, and you just hear, that's how simple it is, and you will get a parent educator. You can also do it old school call. We're working virtual, but we do check our voicemail, and you'll still get a parent educator, probably within 24 to 48 hours. This is our events calendar, so you see all of the great stuff that we have going on. Here's a little bit about our coffee and conversations, which are really awesome. You can keep going, Miss Kara. And here's the times, but they're also on our calendar, which is on our website, ppmd.org, if I haven't shared that yet. And then these are the topics that we've talked about. One of the other services that we offer to families is virtual IEP reviews. So if families have questions about their IEPs, they can just schedule an appointment, and that gives them time to work one-on-one with our parent educators. You can also do that through a regular parent educator. We also do these in English and in Spanish as well. This is just a flyer about it. Our newsletters. So we do a monthly newsletter, and then we do a Spanish newsletter once every 3 months or quarterly. Here is different ways you can connect with us. So our website, our Facebook in English and in Spanish, our YouTube channel, how to subscribe to our monthly newsletter. with those pieces. All of our services are free of charge to families. There's no eligibility requirement. There's no anything. All we ask is that you call us. And here is our contact information. Yes, you can feel free to contact me, but you would be in much better hands with Angie. And so here is Angie's contact information as well. And I think that is it. And did I do it, Kara, in 3 minutes?
You were close. You were close. As close as everyone else, actually.
Right.
So thank you so much. We're excited to have Angie join us. For those of you who have not met Angie, she was active in CCAC and in Hagerstown Community College. And so she and I have connected over the years and have been great resources for each other. So now let's move over to Neil with Pathfinders for Autism.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Kara, for the opportunity to present today. It's nice to see all of I have so many familiar faces I see on the screen, and I can tell you that a lot of these organizations, I give out their information a lot to families that reach out, and we are great partners with Parents Place of Maryland, as well as the ARC, as well as a lot of other organizations. And congratulations to Angie, because I know she and I worked together when she was at the community college, and she's a great addition to the Parents Place team. So my name is Neil Lichter. I'm a program director for Pathfinders for Autism. Pathfinders has been around for just over 20 years. Serving the Maryland community. We are a Maryland-only organization. And we do 3 main things. We are a resource center. So we've got a great website, pathfindersforautism.org, that has a tremendous amount of information, resources, articles that can help families all along the lifespan in their journey with autism spectrum disorder. We have a great provider directory on our website where families can go, or individuals with autism or professionals can go to our provider directory and look up one of 150, 160 different categories and put in their zip code and find providers in and around their area. So if you're looking for doctors or speech therapists or behavior therapists, you can find that, but you can find dentists or barbers or little league teams or support groups or things like that, where it's not always that easy to find those resources. To find them, and you can find them on our website in our provider directory. It's a great resource. So we started off 20 years ago as a resource center, and we still take that very seriously. We do that, and that's a big piece of what we do. We also put on workshops and trainings all over the state. We've been doing them virtually, which has been great because we're getting great attendance on them because people from all over the state can attend and tune in. We just did a great Spanish presentation with Parents Place of Maryland about wandering and elopement. That's a big piece of what we do. We concentrate a lot on safety and wandering and elopement. We have workshops coming up, a healthy relationship workshop series for adults 18 and over. All of the stuff that we do is free as well. You can sign up on our website at pathfindersforautism.org. We've got a great presentation coming up in July called The Gut-Brain Connection in Autism, which is going to be presented from one of the doctors at KKI and part of a partnership with Spark. We've also got a great driver safety program that we've just started that is a 2-part. We just did one in Montgomery County. We're going to be doing one in Baltimore County, but we are looking to take it all across the state, where we have a webinar about what to do and how to prepare. If you have a young one or with a driver's license or with a learner's permit on the autism spectrum, a webinar about what to do, how to prepare, what to say. But the next day after the webinar, you can come out with your car and you can practice being pulled over and what to do in that situation and how to role play that situation with actual police officers, Baltimore County police officers, it was Montgomery County police officers. And just practicing things like that can help reduce the anxiety when the time comes. Everybody who participates in the webinar and the driving seminar gets a $25 gas card. They get an envelope where they can keep all of their paperwork, a clip to clip it to their visors. And on the envelope, it has a list of all the things you have to do. Very good to hand over to the police officer so that maybe they get an understanding that they're dealing with somebody on the autism spectrum. Which sort of segues into some of the other trainings we do. We train first responders, police, fire, hospital staff, all across the state in understanding autism. And we also come out and do free presentations all over the state, understanding autism, Autism 101. If you have a school system, if you have staff that needs PDs, if you have, we would come out and do it for free. All they have to do is call us and ask, and we'd be more than happy to come out and do it. As a courtesy, and it's important because, it's, sometimes teachers don't know all about autism. Maybe the teacher hasn't had taken a special education class since their freshman year or something like that. And there's a lot of aha moments that come from some of our presentations. So those are really great. And the last thing that we do, which is absolutely my favorite part of what we do, is our free family fun events. So we've been doing them virtually: bingo, scavenger hunt, dance parties, fun stuff like that. We're just now getting back into doing some live events. We have scheduled an event here in Baltimore at the Ladue Topiary Gardens. We're going to be in Harford County at the Aberdeen Ironbirds game. We have a great run walk through the zoo in Maryland, but we go all over the state to do free family fun events. Anybody on here who has events for their organizations are welcome to submit them and put them on our calendar so families can find them. And we share them on our website, on our social media pages and things like that. And I'm sure I left a bunch of stuff out, but you can always reach out to me at pathfindersforautism.org. There's about 8 of us that work there. 6 of us have kids on the autism spectrum. I have a 17-year-old. So we all come at it from different aspects: kids who are more impacted, kids who are less impacted, and things like that. So if I don't know the answer to the question, perhaps one of my coworkers does. But you're welcome to reach out to us. And thank you so much for your time. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Neil. You've been a great partner for FCPS. We need to do it more. We will in the fall. And you've been a great resource for a lot of our families. So I appreciate it.
Glad to do it anytime.
So last but not least, we have Heather Fritz with Service Coordination.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Kara. My name is Heather Fritz, like she said, and I have been a service coordinator for 7 years. So I will share a brief overview of kind of what we do here at Service Coordination. Our organization provides quality case management services to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities across their lifespan, including individuals with traumatic brain injuries, transitioning youth students, individuals with court or forensic involvement, people with co-occurring mental health diagnoses. And service coordination connects individuals to available community services. For example, respite care, adaptive equipment, social needs, utility support, medical support, eviction prevention, federal and state benefits, and future planning, just to name a few. Service coordinators help by educating and assisting individuals to live their life of their choosing, connecting them to housing and other services within their community, ensuring that services delivered are of the highest quality and suit their needs, partnering with other organizations and agencies, some that are on here tonight, to develop a broad network of support and services. Service coordinators create their plan of service that is tailored to each person's unique wants and preferences, and we ensure that they're getting the services and supports detailed within their plan. And we educate and inform and support people to make their own choices and decisions. So that is just a very brief summary of all that we do. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. And I did share a flyer with Kara that she can share with the group later.
Yes, so everything that I've received, I'll make sure I send out, and we also post on our Facebook page. And if you guys have any questions, we have about 5 or 10 minutes. If you have any questions specifically for our guest speakers tonight before we let them go and we get back to business. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. I know we have all of your contact information, all of your websites. We'll post that on our pages and share. And we really appreciate the partnerships and the information that you have all brought to us today. So thank you all so much for your time tonight. And we will hopefully be in touch soon.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see everyone. Take care.
You too, Bob.
Just a second. There we go. Okay, I think we've just have our CCAC members left. All right, Patty, back to you.
All I have to say is that we have the most incredible resources available. I didn't know about some of them, but I'm going to make sure a lot of people do know about them. So that was just amazing. All right, so we are going to move on to director's comments.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So Linda and I have a couple of updates this evening. The first one we have for you is we are in the process of planning for school year 2021-22. And we, of course, would love everyone's input on concerns related to our students next year and the supports, as well as what we can put into place to help students be successful next school year. Linda has put in the chat box just a survey to two questions. What are your concerns for students next year? And what supports can we put into place to help students be successful next year? We are asking multiple stakeholders that question throughout Frederick County. So we put this information together and we will be utilizing this information to plan for next school year. Our next update is all things extended school year. We have now moved up to over 800 students that are projected for ESY services. We have 12 locations that will be running the ESY from July 6th through July 29th, which is Monday through Thursday. And we'll have that one time on Friday, July 9th. And parents at this time, all during the month of May, have been receiving letters about the communication regarding ESY and their child attending. And then later in the afternoon, we'll be running our recovery compensatory services. And so at this time, that is still going to be occurring as well from July 6th through July 29th. And families are having IEP meetings now, and we'll continue to have those meetings again as we start up for the next school year. So services will begin in the fall as well once we finish out the summer services. If you have additional questions related to the recovery compensatory efforts, you can click on that link inside our director's comments regarding the decision-making process and some of the information from MSDE. And that's what we have for tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Can I ask Linda or Troy, it's not related to what you're sharing tonight, so I know you're not prepared, but I saw a couple Find Out First come out, and I was wondering if you could talk about the special ed attorney that FCPS is looking to hire. The virtual school model, I guess, because it's going to be offered next year, they're hiring admin. I heard they're hiring a principal and a vice principal. And while I realize that's for everybody, we do have some special ed kiddos that will be staying virtual. So it impacts special ed. And then I don't know if everybody here heard the announcement about expressions. So I thought maybe you guys could mention that as well.
Sure. So I'll start. Yes, we have posted for an in-house Frederick County Public Schools special education attorney. It posted about a week ago, and we will be developing an in-house legal team for Frederick County Public Schools. As well as once that attorney is hired, we will be working together with that attorney for them to hire a paralegal. The second topic that you brought up was virtual. So this coming school year, as you've heard from the board, that we will be opening up our schools in person 5 days a week. An intention survey went to families that is due the first week in June. That describes the blended virtual program that students can opt to participate in a virtual only program. That if a student with a disability, an IEP or a 504 is intended by their family to be virtual, an IEP meeting and or 504 meeting will be held to discuss the accommodations and services and the implementation of them in the virtual setting and how that can be FAPE. We also will be, depending on the amount of families with students with disabilities who intend to be virtual only, we will be hiring service providers that will be virtual only service providers. Those providers, the intention of that, as you have followed the board, have recognized that concurrent teaching can be a struggle, teaching both students in person and virtual. And last but not least, we are just over the moon excited because our functional communication program, previously named Challenges, the public release went out last week. The selection is Expressions. So the new name of our functional communication program is Expressions. Currently, we are working together with Public Affairs to create an opportunity the last week of school for families, students, staff, alum to join us in a virtual celebration for the rollout of the new program name Expressions.
And just to
Thank
add
you.
to that, I would say that the only other thing is that for virtual, based on the amount of parent intents we will receive, will help us indicate our staffing for next school year for the virtual program, that is.
I had just 2 comments. Thank you to Linda and Troy for putting on a great celebration. If you weren't able to make the special education celebration, they did a fabulous job. Just thanking the people who were there and providing shout outs to people and gift baskets for a lot of the special ed and support staff. So thank you. That was wonderful. I do have one question about the virtual school. My understanding is it does not include pre-K. So if there's a student with an IEP who is in pre-K, how would they then receive services if they opt for virtual because of a medical condition?
So at this time, they're not starting up pre-K virtual. So it will be kindergarten through 12th, and kind of like what we're doing as we get more information, you know, the virtual program may change, but as of right now, it's kindergarten through 12th grade virtual options.
So what would you suggest for a pre-K student? What would their options be?
So for instance, in that example that you gave, Teresa, the student would go back to their traditional model of applying for HHT. And so
okay,
as their ability allowed them, then they would potentially be able to integrate back into brick and mortar school.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And by HHT, you mean home hospital teaching, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Personally, I like the brick and mortar content comment. That was good. Okay, let's move on to our Board of Ed representative, Mr. Mason. I know we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, my camera's not working this evening. Just have a few comments to make. I'll start with letting you know that Dr. Albin's going to give a virtual school update on Wednesday at our Board of Education meeting. So tune in there and you'll get a good overview of how we're going to go forward with virtual school. It's going to sort of look like summer school, which is going to be part of the update. So you'll get that information on Wednesday, and then probably will be included in our June 9th meeting also, just to give you a further update. Wanted to say thank you for everyone for being on the CCAC committee. I joined in December and wasn't aware that there was no summer school or summer CCAC meetings. I found that out today. So everyone enjoy their summer, and thank you for doing your work on the CCAC committee. There's still time left in the budget season. We're nearing the end. Still waiting on some final numbers, but if there's anything you want to advocate for in the special ed budget, there's still a few more weeks to do that. So I encourage you to look up the budget, and if there's anything you would really like us to keep in the budget, please let us know. And that will be all for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. All right, now Partners for Success.
Hi. So just a couple updates. We still have, it is May, we have 2 more parent support groups coming up. They are typically, let's see, they are coming up. It's the second Tuesday and the first Thursday. And since our school year is going through June 17th, we have the opportunity to talk to parents a couple more times. We wrapped up our spring book club and have chosen a book for our fall book club. And that is going to be Wired Differently. And we'll send out a notice about that via Find Out First and other avenues to share that. But hoping to have some even more parents join us for that virtual club in the early or late summer, early fall. And we did partner with CCAC tonight on having Stephanie Knapp present on self-regulation and the IEP. We had some technical difficulties, so we will ask to have her come back. And we will reach out to our families that had signed up to let them know when that's going to be rescheduled. So apologies for that. And the last thing that we have been discussing is talking about a lunch and learn for recovery services. And that is still TBD. We're just working out a few details with the team that's going to help me present that. So we would still like to get that out before the end of the year if possible. If not, we will come up with something different for next year. So again, any workshops that you all have that think may be useful or helpful, send those my way. It is like you or Neil, I think, talk about some of the things that we've done with them in the past, and Autism 101 has always been very well received. We'll get back with him. And just some other ones that were on our radar were some internal communications around like literacy interventions, math interventions. And so again, keep any kind of suggestions coming to me. So I'd love to look for new opportunities as well. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Kara. All right, now we're going to go down to our subcommittees. First is membership.
Good evening, everyone. We are still accepting applications for the next school year CCAC committee. We will be accepting them until the end of this month. So please make sure you share that information with families, friends, organizations. We have had a great response thus far. The membership committee will be meeting in June to make decisions, and the letters will go out before the September meeting.
Thank you. How about the communications committee? Jeremy, you still here?
I'm working on it. I'm having trouble over here. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
We have had terrible internet problems today. So for the communications committee, we met last week. I believe it was Thursday of last week.
Yeah.
And we had a homework assignment from the last meeting to work on a plan or a strategy for communicating for additional membership applications. And in that conversation, what we decided to do was to create kind of a one-page flyer. I think Linda wanted us to toot a horn, I think is how she said it last time. So we were working on building a flyer that was like, hey, here is who CCAC is. Here's why you'd want to join. And here's how you can make a difference in the special education community. That flyer is still under construction. What I had heard in that meeting, and hopefully Shauna can verify in this conversation, is that we had almost 50 applicants for. So I think that we still have a need for this one-page flyer, but I think that 50 applicants reduces the requirement for the urgency for the flyer. I don't recall us ever having 50 applicants, but maybe I'm mistaken about that.
I don't know that we've ever had 50 applicants. In the beginning, we had many, but I don't know that we've ever had this many. But I agree. We've had so far, I mean, we're still collecting applications. So let's see if we can get up to 60 or 70 or 80.
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm glad I don't have to sort through all that. So we'll still work on the flyer, but it'll probably be more of a thing that we use for next year's membership drive. But that's the update from the communications subcommittee.
Question. Do you send out letters to people that don't get selected for the membership? So
yes, sir. Yep, we sure do.
Do you some places will keep applications and consider them for the future. I guess that could be worked into the application process if you wanted to do that.
So we do keep applications and we have backups. So if somebody has to step down, or if somebody applies and they're accepted, but aren't able to participate, then we have second, third, and fourth people to slide in and ask if they're interested in joining.
Thanks for the explanation.
I
Sure.
forgot to add something, so I'm sorry about that. But also, we discussed potentially using the folks who are part of the resource fair, like the vendors that come in, to send our membership flyer to their mailing lists or whatever communication channel they have to their customers. And we thought that potentially that would allow us to expose CCAC to more of a different audience than we do if we use things like Find Out First or go through the school system. Just because it could potentially be a different set of eyes or something like that. So that is part of the plan as well.
That's an excellent idea. I love it.
Yeah, I think we liked it too, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yes, we did. We liked it. Yes. Okay, next, I'm hoping we have someone from the budget committee to give us an update.
Well, that's me. Eric is usually the mastermind behind all of that, but as far as I'm aware, we don't have an update. Am I right, Kara?
I'm sorry, I was trying to come off mute. No major updates since last time, other than the amendment has been submitted. I can't talk today. Our liaison who works on the grants was waiting for one more piece of information from another department to submit them all together, because our grants are on the same piece. We don't want to submit multiple amendments. So all of that should be submitted this week in terms of getting final approval. It's been approved within FCPS. It just now needs to be sent to MSDE. And then as soon as that is final approval has gone through, we will be spending that budget on the teacher grants that we had discussed previously. So they'll be out there. So soon they will be out there before they'll have all of that before they return next year. And then we will regather to talk about next year's budget.
Okay, thank you. Next we have the resource fair. I know Desiree, was it you, Desiree, who did up this great document that kind of summarized everything?
It's sort of in collaboration with Kara, and the committee reviewed it. It wasn't just
y'all did.
Thank you. Yeah. So, are we talking about the plan of work, or are we talking about the which document are you referring to?
I was talking about the one that was just all about the resource fair itself. Okay.
So
I guess it is in the plan of work.
Okay. Right. Is that something that I can bring up, or Kara, do you want to bring it up, or how?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Give me 2 seconds. I just have to go back to it. Thanks.
All right.
Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay.
So I was the chair, and Eric was the co-chair this year, and then we also had Kara and Megan Knapp and Miss Hurd, and we of course had a virtual resource fair, and it lasted a week from March 8th to March 12th. And we had the vendors register. There are some categories listed here. I'm not going to read every one, but the one with the bullets that you can see are categories that Kara has suggested for different vendors to participate or to categorize themselves as part of. And then we had 23 participate this year, 20 submitted videos, possible recommendation for next year is to have a specific online platform to host, possibly a hybrid fair. We'll discuss that more when in the fall. We used Facebook. We used the Facebook CCAC site, the Eventbrite, and we sent out a find out first message. You can still watch the videos. There's a YouTube playlist so that if you wanted to share a video, you could tell persons how to access individual videos. So next year, if we have it in person, we could spotlight vendors in the 1 to 2 weeks prior to the event to kind of create some buzz. We appreciate Troy and Linda for having a welcome kickoff message. We didn't use any funding because it was all virtual. And this is kind of interesting. Kara put together a really good list of how many views. So as you can see, Easter sales had the most views, followed by the welcome video from the special education directors. Renix caregivers also had quite a bit, as well as Katie did summer camps. And then Spirit Club as well. And then the others are listed. So that is there anything below that? Oh, okay. So, and then Kara created, I was really blown away, Kara, by the resource guide you made. I was just like, wow. If you click on that link, there's pretty much a summary of all of the different vendors that participated in the 2021 resource fair. And so it's categorized by community resources, social services, therapeutic recreation camps, therapy services, mental health services, physical fitness, and special needs attorneys and state planning. So, and she has summarized each vendor, a paragraph each of what, how their services can support students and families with special needs. And it's color coded and it's just phenomenal. And she was saying that we could either send this out and distribute it via the CCAC Facebook site, or through, we could do a printable version, or there was one other way, which I don't remember.
Oh, I think I would, sorry. I think when you send out the thank you note, I would just kind of attach it and ask the vendors to distribute it as well. And that was one of the reasons after I did that part of it that I felt like maybe we should next year be more specific on those categories that I listed, and then allow these vendors to check more than one, because I think when we sent out the survey to them, we only give them opportunity to check one category, when I really think that like a lot of them kind of overlap. I was looking at some other fairs that had done that, and I thought it was kind of helpful, because then you would get maybe down to this page and you'd look at like, what is CAS? Well, I mean, they might be social services and they might be mental health, so they would have like two colors. But at this point, I'm not going to go back to the vendors, but just a lesson learned for next year, just to kind of better do it. And if we have it in person, the goal would be to get this before the fair. I mean, we did have some of the information, but the goal would be to get it all put together before the fair, and then also possibly like include the vendor map. Because usually when we have it in person, what we do is we try to like tell people where they're going for different things. So ideally this would have maybe another category on it that would say like, I don't know, table 6 or whatever it might be. So just something to think about for whoever's on this planning committee next year. So I thought the more we put in there, the better for whoever picks it up and runs with it. So. Okay. So the other detail is I did create a thank you email and sent it out to the committee, and the committee seemed to like it. I don't have access to the CCAC email, so I can't actually send the message. So
I'm not sure who's doing that.
Yeah, I can do it, Desiree. I'm sorry. Jeremy sent us some feedback, which I appreciate. Thank you, Jeremy. So I'll make those updates, but I just wanted to send it to you because you were chairing, so you would see it. But I can do that and send that out. And if we're all okay, I'll also send them the guide, things like that for them to share. So
okay,
that's good. So I mean, I think we all agree that we didn't have as much buzz and excitement as we could have, but it was a good first try for us, I think, virtually. And we have some good lessons learned from it. And I do think that regardless of where we are next year, that we should have some ability to do something online. So I think there was definitely, there's a lot of benefit of having them send in videos ahead of time and allow us to place them somewhere and give them that opportunity to kind of like, if they couldn't attend in person, they could still view things online. So that piece I'd like to keep, ideally in the future, still have it in person, I think is a great way to do it, but we'd have this kind of like maybe a hybrid type of fair in the future. Something to think about.
Okay, one thing I want to add to that, this resource guide that you did is incredible. I know you asked us to look it over and like proofread it, but I'm just really taken back by how much information is in here.
And that's really that's what we gathered from the vendor. So I didn't do it all. When we took the survey out, we asked them if they wanted to be part of our guide. That way they would either hand out or whatever. And so most of the blurbs came from the vendors. And so they provided their information. I popped it in there. So good news is now we have a template. So whoever wants to take this next year can run with it.
Yeah. Well, I have to say you made it look very pretty.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Next we have our retreats and events committee.
Oh, so I think we already talked about, where we were event wise. We are going to we're going to postpone the assessments workshops till the fall. It's May and everyone is crazy busy, and the speakers that we would like to get on, it's just a lot. So we're going to go ahead and just postpone that until the fall, but we do still want to have that. It's on the radar, and we'll keep that as a combined CCAC Partners for Success partnership going forward. So we think that's a really good one for everyone to be involved in. And then the retreat, did I send the notes out to everybody? I think I did, but just so everyone knows, I thought it was fantastic. We had 13 of us attending, which is, I think, good. There was a good forum of us to be there. So thank you, Troy and Linda, for what you guys were able to kind of contribute in the beginning. That was helpful. I gained some good knowledge in terms of like timing and information for budget planning and recommendation planning. And I outlined all of that in the notes section. So if I hadn't sent it out, I'll send it out again to all of you. We met at Utica Park for about 3 hours. We had dinner. We talked about things and we just did some get to know you pieces. I sent you all those surveys. So everyone, I think I almost got everyone to fill those out. Thank you for the surveys. So I felt like this was a year where we didn't really get to know each other very well. So this was just a fun way of being like, oh, who had the coolest car as their first car, or who, just different fun things like that, as well as some informational pieces like why we originally joined CCAC, just to kind of help us all regroup and remember that, as frustrating as the year can be and as fun as the year can be, sometimes it's just good to remind ourselves why we are here and what we intend to do and what our goals are collectively. So I think that was helpful for us just to kind of reset for the summer and then get back together. We did come up with a couple of things we'd like to do next year. Those are all in the notes. We don't have to rehash it, but a couple of things I do want to bring up, because it's while I have you guys as a forum, is some suggestions came up that maybe we should get together prior to the start of the official year in 2 ways. One, as an informal, bring the CCAC members and our own families together for some sort of cookout or potluck or something that I will be glad to plan if you guys are interested. That would be a voluntary thing, but if you're available, we will do that, just so we can all get together and meet prior to the start of the year. And the second thing that we were thinking is, because of the timing and budgeting and all of those things we were talking about, that we feel it would be helpful, and school's also going back into session in August, if we could have an August meeting. So it wouldn't be one of our official mandatory meetings, but we would like to host a meeting prior to that, so we can send that out, just so we can start discussing some of that and getting a little bit ahead of it, because we really want to get some decisions made in time for us to actually make an impact with what might have changed or what we can support. We really need to get that kind of together and with Troy and Linda and make sure we're all on the same page really prior to that September meeting if we can. So we're gonna send that out if that's possible.
Kara, can I interrupt you for a second?
Absolutely.
We are going back to in-person meetings, the board is. So September will be in person. And if you want to meet in the boardroom in August, just let Linda know. That'll be accessible.
Okay, yeah, it's probably something we will want to do. And while you bring that up, that first meeting almost definitely. But the other thing that came up as a suggestion is that we've learned that other CCACs, whether it be within Maryland or in other states, a lot of them meet like in elementary schools or something like that. And we were just kind of tossing around the discussion on pros and cons of that. Some pros were that sometimes they can offer childcare that would also require different directives and some things. So we've reached out to some of the other CCACs to see how they manage that and determine, legally and, registration wise, different things like that. If that might help us bring in more families and teachers to sit in or participate in CCAC meetings. And if it just may be a friendly environment, I mean, it's a nice free place to go at the Board of Ed building, but it's also kind of dark and parking, and we're there pretty late some nights. So we're just throwing out ideas. So I think it's something we probably should discuss at the beginning of next year. But yes, it sounds that would probably be fantastic for August. So at least we all know where we're going. So I will, I can follow up with you, Troy and Linda, if we need to request that. Anyone else that was at the meeting? Think of anything I missed?
Kara, it's Colleen. Hold on, let me put my video on. Yeah, there we go. I actually have a face. Oh, God. maybe I should shut it off. One, did we want to go ahead and just put a tentative date down on the calendar now for August? As a possibility, maybe not, just to let people know. I know when we were talking about checking in with other CCACs, I'm waiting to hear back from Carroll counties. Just they have not gotten back to me. They acknowledged they received my email. They said, okay, let us find out some information. Okay, fine, thank you. But I didn't know if you wanted to just go ahead and just randomly throw out a date. I'm looking at August right now, just so that it doesn't have to be set in stone, but I think just maybe to people put it in their calendars.
Yeah, I think so. And I was actually playing around with all calendar event type things. So let me just kind of put that up there if you guys don't care.
I mean, because like the 16th is that Monday before students start. Teachers will have already been back.
Right.
But that 16th is before kids start.
Sorry, I'm losing bandwidth. Give me a second.
I know mine's pretty crappy today.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm having internet connections. Give me a second.
So you have August, okay. Okay, so you were putting down August 22nd as a Sunday. I see what you have. You're putting August 22nd down, which is
sorry.
All right.
I completely lost bandwidth, so I missed that whole conversation. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So I saw your thing. So you were putting down August 22nd as a Sunday for an informal get together, but then you were looking at the 30th.
I was just thinking sticking towards the same kind of like last Monday for a meeting, even though it's not necessarily official, but I'm open to suggestions. I was just putting dates on a calendar and seeing what might work.
We could stick with the last Monday, the 30th.
Gives everyone 2 weeks to get back to some normalcy too, as we're back to school. I don't know.
Does anybody really majorly have an objection to that 30th as an informal get together? Because it became really clear, and I know you put it out in the meeting. I'm like, my lighting is really bad. It really became clear about the budgeting issue that when we were talking to Linda and Troy at the retreat. I mean, it was good because now we really understand the time crunch that they're under and what we need to do to be able to provide to them the time frame in order for them to be able to throw it into their budgets and so forth. So. I mean, I don't see anything in the chat. It doesn't look like anybody's majorly opposed to the 30th.
Okay.
For some reason, I already had it on my calendar, so. And I have our meeting 2 weeks before that, Linda. That's on the calendar too.
Oh my God. All right.
So Linda and Troy, could you just ask if we can have the Board of Ed building on the 30th, or August 30th from 6 to 8, just so we can do some planning.
So I heard you guys talk about informal and barbecue and family together.
Two things.
Now we're shifting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and does that change our bylaws at all about the number of meetings we have in the
Yeah.
year?
So what we were saying is that the get together with our family, completely voluntary. And honestly, this August 30th date, voluntary. Like, we feel like we need it, but we're not going to change the bylaws. So it wouldn't be a mandatory meeting. It wouldn't be marked against you if you couldn't come, although it would be incredibly helpful if you could, type of thing. So it's not a mandatory meeting. It was more of a planning.
It's more of a brainstorming and coming up with, can we come up with possibly 5 things? Can anybody come up with like the top 5 things that we really are passionate about that we'd like to move forward with to present to you guys?
Yeah, so I was calling it informal and unofficial, just so we're not against the bylaws.
Well, we could be calling it an emergency meeting. We're just creating that emergency early.
Yeah.
So when everything gets finalized, Kara, just send Troy and I an email of what you need.
Will do.
The other thing is, if you're just looking for a brainstorming, a Google form would be really good for that. Then you'll have it documented. You'll have a lot of information. You can kind of pull out what you want.
Good idea. We can do that
Yeah,
ahead
I
of
think
time.
we were thinking about doing, I think we had talked about that, Kara, about sending that sometime over the summer and then still hold that meeting. I think that's what we had discussed.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Perfect. Okay, we'll gather that. And the other things we talked about during the retreat were just one, the timeline, and then just we looked at new member packages that we're going to do better about this year and getting that out, whether it goes in a binder form or something else. We went over a few different documents just to kind of help us bring new people on, refresh our own memories about what the purpose is, and just some general guidelines of how CCAC works. So we'll share that too as we go back in and finalize it. And I'll work with the membership committee this summer to get that out to new folks as they are chosen.
Did you guys ever find the binder? Whoever had the binder? Patty, who had the binder? Shauna, did you have the binder?
I never got a binder. I'm before binder times.
Somebody got a binder. I don't know who got a binder.
Yeah, I never got a binder.
Well, we're gonna
I got a binder.
Oh, Michelle
All the members had binders. Dee Dee walked in with a stack of them. And I don't know when that stopped because I never really paid attention after I got my little binder of all the information I need to know. So we're going to bring that back.
That was 10 years ago. And I think it was 2 years after that too.
I believe you all. We're going to bring it back. So, okay.
Bring back the binders.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay. We're good on that. 7:20. Where are we?
Well, we only have one more. If anyone from Best Buddies wants to just give a shout and say what you kind of are on hold for next year, I believe, but right.
Sorry. Yes. And I don't know. Is Lori still on?
Yeah, I'm here. So I am very interested in doing the committee for Best Buddies, and one of my friends has a son who actually went to school to get a degree in nonprofit, actually just got a job with National Best Buddies. So I've reached out to him to get information from him about, what do they, should we do every school? How should we start this? And different information. So I'm kind of in my information gaining place right now, where I'm kind of working with him to get the information that I need to be able to tell everybody exactly what Best Buddies is and why we would want it in more schools and this kind of stuff. So that's where I am.
Okay. Thank you. That's good. That's very good. All right, let's move on to our updates. The first thing we need to do is we need to approve the notes from our last meeting. So if everybody has looked them over, And if no one has any changes that need to be made, then we need to, someone needs to make a motion to approve the.
I make a motion.
Ooh, somebody made a motion. Anybody would like to second that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of the meeting notes being approved? Are we going to have everybody write yes?
Yes, could you put it in the chat for me? Just to be sure. Thank you.
I'm driving, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, let me write mine.
Okay, we have a majority.
Okay, very good. All right, so now I'm moving us on to the pending items. First one is the communications team will propose plans on where to share CCAC information and membership recruitment. I know we talked about it all a little bit. I know that we had our eyes opened at the retreat talking about, what is it called? Not Twitter, but the other one, Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram.
Found out that old people are the ones that like Facebook, and the millennials, I guess they're called, they're the ones that are into more of Instagram. So hopefully we'll get Megan to help us, and I'm volunteering you, Megan. I'm
happy to help.
so that we can establish something on Instagram. Anybody have anything else on that subject? Okay. Let's see. Well, we already talked about the recruitment and the application, and it looks like any advertising that we've done so far has done really well with the number of people who have applied. We said we were going to do it on Find Out First, Facebook, Channel 18. I know that I shared the post on Facebook onto my Facebook account, and I don't know, it looks like we've done very well, but that's something that
Thank you all for sharing that too. I was telling Shona too, one thing that I'd like to add to our membership form next year, I've meant to write that down somewhere, was to add a line of like, how did you hear about us? Just so we can track what's working next time. Kind of like, was it Facebook? Was it word of mouth? Was it Channel 18? And that way we don't, spin our wheels trying to get word. We'll find out where our best opportunities are. So we didn't do it this year, but we'll add it to the form for next year. At least that's my suggestion.
I think that's a really good idea. I think that's a very good idea. Okay.
And I did see it on Channel 18. I sat there yesterday and waited until it came up just to make sure. I know the communications team said they would, but I wanted to see it, and it's definitely on there. So.
Oh, good. I don't have Channel 18, so. All right, the next one is an exciting action item. Both the co-chair position and the treasurer position are both going to be open for next year. And what we need is for either someone to nominate themselves, or if you know someone else who's interested, to nominate them, because I don't want to do this alone. I need a co-chair with me. And Eric did a fabulous job, doing the budget and stuff with the committee. But one of the things that we want to do in the bylaws is to separate out the secretary and treasurer position, because nobody knows this, I don't think. But when Dee Dee was here as the secretary, she did secretary and treasurer. She had so much to do all the time. We just made sense to split the positions. So anybody want to speak up? Anybody interested in co-chair, treasurer? Please.
I will be happy to help.
Excuse me?
I said I'd be happy to help. My reservation is that I only have 1 year under my belt. So, but I would be happy to help in a way that you feel would be fitting my experience. So, which is minimal on this committee. But yeah.
So Desiree, was that for co-chair or treasurer?
If nobody's going to do one of them, then, I'm the treasurer for another club in town. So I have some experience as a treasurer. I really am feeling like I might be too green to be a co-chair. But if nobody is going to step up, I don't want it to be vacant. But I just feel rather green.
Okay.
How much,
Patty?
Yes.
How much time would you say is involved outside of the CCAC meetings every month? How much time would you say is involved in being the co-chair?
The co-chair's responsibility is, first of all, we have we meet with Linda and Troy to review the agenda. And we do that 2 weeks prior to the meeting so that the agenda can be posted right away. I've designated myself to be the one to do the agenda, so I would keep doing the agenda. And the other thing is just, it's to help run the meetings. And then one of us, I also did this. I went to the CSAC meetings, which was really very interesting, but I only did that twice. And actually once was virtual. So I only went down the road one time to be with them. So, but.
Patty, I was approached by somebody to ask whether or not I wanted to do treasurer. When does that start?
It'll start in August.
And the current secretary / treasurer will be right there with you.
Yes.
And I would already have the budget submitted for this year. It would be a matter of being part of the budget committee and then just making sure that we're all staying on track and perhaps helping to just put the document back together when we send it back to our liaison.
Fine, Kara.
So I would like to nominate Colleen Akula for treasurer.
Yeah, nice, Kara.
So do you have 2 people now? So that comes down to a vote?
You would, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Patty, this is Jennifer Hurd. If nobody else wants to step up to do the co-chair, I would be happy to do that.
Oh, thank you. Whoa.
Thank you.
I'm happy to help. And, I think that this committee is very important. So I would be happy to work with you.
Okay. So now do we have to have a vote?
For the co-chair, if we only have one?
Yeah, I believe we still have to have a vote. Yep.
Someone needs to motion and accept the
I motion that Jennifer Hurd be the co-chair of the Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee.
I second.
And let's see. So now we have to vote. So if you are in favor of Jen Hurd becoming the co-chair of CCAC, please say yes. I go from one Jen to another.
She'll do a great job.
We do have a majority now. I'm like, hello, vote people. Congratulations, Jen.
Yes. Congratulations, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to help, of course.
Thank you. And then now, treasurer, we have to do the same thing?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes, we still have to affirm all the members, all the positions. Yep.
Okay, so we did have a nomination for Colleen to become the treasurer. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Very good, thank you. Okay, so we have Colleen has been nominated and the motion has been seconded. So we need for everyone to place their vote, whether they would like Colleen to be our treasurer.
Okay, we have a majority.
That was amazing. You all did very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Let's see.
Desiree, thank you so much for volunteering too. I think that, I'm so excited about this whole team coming back together this year. Colleen was like my right-hand man at the thing, which is why I nominated her, but she kept me straight, which I always need. But I can't wait to work with all of you. And you did a fantastic job with the resource fair as well, Desiree. 1 second, Rex.
Okay, let's see. The next couple of things that are on the action items we've already done. One was about the spring retreat, which again, I'm going to say it was awesome. And I really look forward to having one in the fall, because even though I can see all of your faces, just being together and face to face was really, it was a really good way for us to get to know each other. And it should always happen at the beginning of the year. I understand that they used to do that a long time ago, but we're bringing it back. And we already had a resource fair summary report and the CCAC events and the update on speakers. So we are now to the very last thing, and that is our bylaws. Everybody has had several weeks to review the bylaws. And I think what we need to do is to open it up for some discussion. Jen Wheat, please jump in here and help me.
Yeah, what we were going to open it up to, and some of you, and I'm sorry, I'm driving also, so please let me know if you can't hear me.
Oh, dear Lord, pull over.
I'm not watching you, I'm just listening to you. Okay. So if you received an email inadvertently about some changes, we said we were not going to take any more changes to the bylaws, but there were a couple of suggestions that were made post last meeting. So what we decided to do instead was, before we vote on the acceptance of the bylaws, was to put up for a vote whether the team wants to open it back up, because we had said it was closed, and that was what we had agreed on as a team. So if we want to open it back up, we would need to, I would feel better if we had a vote from the committee to say, yes, I want to open it back up. And there were 2 suggestions in the for changes in the mission statement. And I think those probably came through in an email, so people had a chance to take a look. So before we vote on approval of the bylaws, I would like to vote on whether you would like to reopen discussion for changes in the bylaws. If we reopen discussion, it would push the vote of the approval of the bylaws until September, because we don't meet over summer, because we have to allow for the 20 days in the bylaws. So just like a hand vote, yes or no, on whether you would like to open up discussion of the bylaw amendments again, reopen them. So if you could put into the chat box, and Kara, if you would be able to, since I am driving, I am stopped right now though, and monitor.
I'm looking. Give me a second. I have to check the timestamp because I've got a lot of yeses and nos from all of this. 1 second.
Totally get it.
We have 12 no's and 1 yes. Let me double check.
How many voting members do we have?
Hold on. We need 13, which that was, but give me a second. Let me see make sure everyone's voted. Hold on. I'm squinting on the screen. Give me a second.
I can vote twice if necessary.
No. No, you cannot.
I mean, you could, but it wouldn't count. You only count your one.
Hey, I just voted yes, and I meant to say no.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay,
how
gotcha.
I don't know how to change that.
I got it. So now I have 15 no's and 1 yes. And I think that's all of our voting members for tonight.
So that's a majority to not reopen.
To not reopen it
I
for this
understand.
time.
Okay. Okay. So now that we have voted to not reopen discussion, now we need to vote on the approval of the amended bylaws, the updated and amended bylaws as of April. So we do need a motion to accept the amended bylaws.
I'll motion to accept the amended bylaws.
And then we need a second.
I'll second.
Shauna seconded.
Can you tell me who made the motion?
Teresa.
Thank you. Sorry, Terry.
And so please put into the chat on whether you agree with accepting the amended bylaws.
We have a majority.
Okay. So I think we have to update the signature line, Kara, with the
Yes.
amendment date and all that. We can do that
Okay.
obviously offline.
Yeah, so I'll update it with today's date and we'll send that back out to both of you.
And Kara, there's one other place where the date has to be changed, and that's in the footer.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Very good. Wow. Let's see. So, does anybody have anything else they would like to bring up, talk about?
I did. Give me a second to pull up my notes. Take this with you. Just take that with you. Yeah. Sorry. Just checking one other thing. We do have some members that are not going to be returning next year and have put in their time here. And I just wanted to thank them. Sorry, I want to bring that up real quick. Teresa Proctor will not be returning, but she has put in many years of service. So I want to thank you, Teresa, for everything you've done.
Yes.
As well as Eric Jorgensen. Both are at the end of their terms and have served more than one term. I believe Eric has served 4 years, and Teresa, I believe you're at 10 years. So thank you so much.
10, yes, ma'am.
So thank you for all of the time you have committed to our children and our, service and everything there. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I've learned a lot.
I don't think anything else.
I do know that there was something that Troy and Linda had talked about a little bit, and that's the RISE program. You had brought that up at the retreat, and I know I went and looked it up, and I have all kinds of, it was all written in FCPS, but I went because I had no idea what RISE was, and I had no idea where it was until we had our retreat. But one thing that Linda did mention is that there's a possibility that the RISE program might grow. Am I right, Linda?
So the 22 budget enhancements that are currently being reviewed by the board include a request to expand from RISE 1, which is a type 2 non-public partnership located in our Hillcrest Elementary School to support elementary school students who have autism or similarly situated disabilities and struggle with executive functioning and anxiety. And that is described on our fcps.org website under the Special Education tab, Programs. And it has been placed into the budget enhancement request for the board as they are considering for a middle school RISE 2 program. But as we know, we're balancing budgets as we speak, and some things may be cut. And that may be one thing that is cut, but we continue to want to grow in our partnership with Shepherd Pratt. We really look to this team to support the initiatives aligned to the aspirational goals that the Office of Special Education puts forward, and that is one of them. And so we'll have to wait and see what the board does with that, if they are able to maintain it for school year 22 or if we have to push it to school year 23.
And Linda, as part of CCAC for a while, I know we've talked about that over the years. What are the numbers involved in that program right now? How many people are participating?
So the program has a cap to it, if you will. So, you know, at any given time, there are 10 seats in the program. And so that has pretty much been the seating at the elementary level. We do have quite a few students who have that combined profile at the middle school level. And so it would be a very powerful program at the middle school level.
Yeah.
That we might get more students more appropriate for middle school and for that programming. And our very own Renee Starnes is here. She's a member of our committee, and she's also the program coordinator of the RISE at the elementary. So she can speak even more eloquently about it because she lives it day in and day out.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Linda. And Renee, we will bend your ear, ask you questions, but we'll save that. So, you know, back to the bylaws for 1 second. There's one more thing that I discovered today that I never knew before. Our bylaws are in the back of the special education handbook. So they'll have to be updated there too.
And we'll need to have your signed dated copy so that we can upload them to the fcps.org site as well.
Right.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
I just want to thank everybody for all the hard work. You guys have done some phenomenal things this year, especially during a very, very difficult time. So I hope everybody has a great and relaxing summer.
Me too. And I know that we wrote down on the draft agenda that the next meeting date is September 27th. Well, everybody make sure you mark your calendars tentatively that it's going to be August 30th. So we'll have to make sure we got the room. So on that note, does anybody have anything else? If not, then I believe that we need to have someone make a motion that it is time to dismiss our meeting.
I motion to adjourn and wish you all well in the future.
Thank you, Teresa. You were terrific. And can we have a second?
I will second.
I second them.
Okay. All right. So we just need everybody to put down their votes.
Wonderful. Thank you all. It is 7:48 and we can adjourn.
Thank you very much, everybody. It has been a great year and it's going to be a wonderful summer for all of us.